I'm going to give you 1 minute to go around the room and greet as many people as you possibly can. Shaking hands, high five, saying good morning, whatever it may be. 1 minute to say hello to everybody. Let's get into the brain. Why the brain? Because that is one of the pieces that I bring to teachers. It's my passion, how the brain learns, how stress affects it, how poverty affects it. So when we have students coming from poverty, what does that do to our brain? So we're going to get a piece of that first, and then you'll see that all throughout the day, different things that we do are addressed from what we learned. The brain, you'll see, oh, that aligns with it. Oh, yep, that flows right with it. Okay, so let's dig into the brain. First of all, I want you to turn to someone near you and point to them and say, you're it.
You're it.
If you are partner A, say, that's me.
That's me.
Awesome. If you're partner B, say, that's me.
That's me.
Excellent. So we know who we are. So let me share a little bit of each of these with you. Neurogenesis, and I heard many of you, and you nailed it. It is the brain's ability to actually grow new brain cells. So we used to believe that brain cells died off and then that was it, we were done. We've learned that we are continuously, all the way through adulthood, growing new brain cells. Neuroplasticity is, the word plastic in it, is that just like that, it's stretchable. The brain can actually grow larger in certain areas than others, depending upon the experiences that you have. So they did a study, they looked at violinists who played the violin for 13 years and compared their brain to those that had never played a musical instrument. And in the area of the brain that stores music, which is on the right hemisphere, that portion of the brain was much larger than those that had never played a musical instrument before. So depending upon where your experiences are is where your brain actually grows. You know the term, if you don't use it, you lose it? It's true. And what ends up happening is the brain, let's say that I'm over here and I'm playing a musical instrument, I'm playing more and more. If there are neurons nearby that are not being used, the brain will actually start borrowing those neurons and bringing them in to learn more information about what it is that I'm studying. So it's neat that plasticity goes that way. The other part is it talks about the neural pathways. In the middle of your brain, right through here, you have what's called the corpus callosum. It's the pathways of the nerves that are communicating and talking. So we have the right hemisphere and the left hemisphere. And we tend to really cut down the middle. Right hemisphere is creative, it's musical. Left hemisphere is logical, mathematical. It is similar to that, but it's not as clear cut and dry as you used to think. And they always communicating. All right, so what happens in the brain? I'd like you to put your hand back here first. This is where your brain stem is. It's where fight or flight happens. And this is the first message, any message that comes in, this is where it goes in the brain. Then if you move your hands up to the middle of the brain, deep inside is called the limbic system, and this is your emotional section. And this is the second stop for a message. And then we go into the third part, and this is your frontal cortex. This is where you do the logical thinking. So think about that. First message, you have to decide fight or flight. How do I feel about it? Am I angry? Am I hurt? Am I upset? Am I surprised? Am I happy? To, okay, what am I going to do about it? What am I going to do with this information? What we've learned is your intelligence is made up of 40 to 60% of your genes. Can't do anything about it. Mom, Dad, thank you very much. Well, the other example I'll give you too is stressful situations. I do classroom demonstrations, and I was in Illinois. I was getting ready to do a first grade demonstration, and I had taken the luggage and went to put it in the trunk. And I don't know the last time that you had a rental car, but they put them on these steel cable rings now, and everything's on there. The keys are on there, the remote is on there. So I had my finger through the cable. I didn't hurt myself, okay, I'll warn you, because some of you are going, oh. And I shut the trunk, and the remote had been hanging down. It got caught in the trunk. And I'm going, oh no. I cannot push the button to unlock the trunk. The keys are attached, I cannot take the keys off to unlock it. Oh no, oh no. Okay, those weren't my exact words. However, I kept thinking, I cannot be late. These students are waiting on me, these teachers are waiting on me. So I went, all right, this is what I have to do. I took the cable and I busted it. And I thought, I'll explain to them later, pay for it, whatever I need to do. So I took all the little parts, and I went to sit in the car, I opened the door, sat down, and I went, I just got in the car without unlocking it. I'd already been in the car. And what's in the car? The trunk release button. But I could not think that far. All I knew was I panicked. Oh my gosh, I have to do this demonstration. They're waiting on me. What am I going to do? So I did what was logical to me at the moment was to break the cable. Not thinking, I started in the car. I'm going to save myself some time, some stress, and all that. But that's exactly what happens in our brain. So let me put you under a little bit of a stressful situation here, because you're not stressed already. School's just starting, what, Monday? You're good. Ready, set, go. Gonna have to go a little faster. Should we go with the first row? Push, push, push. Come on, guys, we know we gotta do this. Gotta get it done. Keep going, going, going. You should definitely do the second row well into the third. Let's go faster. Come on. Tie it to you twice. You've practiced it. Should definitely be heading into the fourth row. So keep going, keep going. Almost done. Fifth row. Last one. Go, go, go. Push, push, push. Fast, fast, fast. You do it? Stress is immensely bad for the brain. The good news is we learned about what? It regrows, right? That's exactly. Neurogenesis. Sitting and getting doesn't do it. So what do you think you'll be doing today?
Moving around.
You got it. Moving around. So you're going to, if you don't already know some techniques, you'll hopefully learn some new techniques to be able to put in your classroom to get kids up and moving as well. So let's see. I need some volunteers. And what I'd like you to do is try to get in order, the appropriate order of Bloom's taxonomy. This is the revised version. Could I have given each of them the sign and put them in order?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Would there have been much learning?
No.
No, because again, this is where the learning is occurring. And notice when they wanted to switch, I didn't just let them switch, I wanted to know why. What I'd like you to do is take your hands and make D's in sign language. And I want you to dance them away from each other. This is difficulty. And I'm going to make C's, and I have them come up, complexity. Difficulty, notice that they were on the same spot, just going away from each other. That's because difficulty means it's on the same level of balloons. Complexity is when we switch levels of balloons within a task. Complexity is rigor. Let me hear you say it. Complexity is rigor. Doing 29 summaries is not more rigorous. It was more difficult. All I did was add more work. More work, more work, more work. So let's look at open-ended questions. We talked about various levels of questions, so taking them through the rigor. But also, let's discuss open-ended. The first question, I'm going to ask you to stand up if you think it's open-ended. Stay seated if you think it's not. Here we start out very limited to more open-ended. We have other possibilities to, wow, we really kicked it up. What-ifs are phenomenal if you would take them to a higher level. Because I have to pull my background knowledge, I have to know what I know. I have to think about it and create something totally new from the situation. Or something that I have experience from the past with. Rigor. Rigor. Now without hitting the person beside you, relevance. Relevance. All right, maximizing our lesson is getting its high relevance, high in rigor. If you were to take a perfect day, and I use the term perfect loosely, we would teach our content for 10 minutes and do 20 minutes of nothing with it. 10 minutes of content, 20 minutes of nothing with it. Because the brain needs that time, that downtime to start processing and making connections and doing something with it. And there are 3 components that help it be brain powered. Bloom's, like we've talked about. Differentiating your instruction. And the third piece is multiple intelligences. So how do standards fit in? What do they even mean? That was what I always wanted to say. I would read a standard and go, okay, this is like a foreign language to me. I have copies of standards that I'm going to have to take a look at, and I have 4 of the main subject areas. So, but here's the challenge. Is a lot of times we look at standards, and we go, what? What does it want us? Now, lower levels, it's a little bit easier. But as we get into the older parts, it gets heavier. So there's adult-friendly, and I say kind of, because sometimes it's adult-friendly, standard the way it's written. I'm going to ask you to recreate this chart, and you're going to do a kid-friendly. So I want you to take this version and put it in kid-friendly. Do you have up there, in kid-friendly language, what the students are supposed to be learning? The research backs it immensely. You walk into a classroom and you say to a child, what are you learning? Most of the time you get, I don't know, they asked me to do this. I don't know, we're supposed to be reading this book. But if you ask students who have had the teacher post it in the classroom in their kid-friendly language and talked about it, Oh, we're doing this book because we're supposed to look for a character. Oh, we're going through the book and we're trying to find words that begin with a sound. They are aware of what they're supposed to be doing because it's been posted and it's talked about. But I'm actually doing a third step, is a symbol. How could you turn what the standard is asking into a symbol? The results were unbelievable. When they took the two traditional classes on a standardized test and compared them with the two that did kinesthetic, the kinesthetic one scored 3 times higher than those that just did the drill and kill, the traditional. So keep that in mind as we do this. We want to go from fizzle to sizzle. You betcha. Take the worksheets, cut them up, do something with them, make them interactive. If you are A, say woohoo! All right, if you're B, say uh-huh. Okay, so A, you're going to be the skeptic, B, you're going to be the guru. Here's the situation. And you're going to greet and high-five as many people as you possibly can, cheering them on because you're seeing them take what we know from today, putting it into their classroom, they're adding rigor, they're adding relevance to it, they're giving it their best shot. So you're high-five and congratulating them on a great job. So go ahead, ready, high-five, go around the room and congratulate everybody.
Good job, Tim.
Good job, Jerry.
If you learned something new today, let me hear you say hip hip hooray. Hip hip hooray. You have a great start to the year. I wish you the best.